Okay, really quick, in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, somewhere down, I'm looking at a monitor, somewhere down right over there is a little gear icon if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're watching this on Facebook, some pirated bootleg Facebook version of the video, then you probably won't see that. But I don't think that's going to happen because these vlog videos don't really attract much attention and they're not really good for viral videos. Anyway, so you're probably watching this on YouTube. So down there in the corner is a little gear icon, and if you can click on that, it'll go to your settings as far as the viewer of the video that you are watching, and you can change it to 1080, which is the frame size, 1080p, and or 1080p, I think. And there's a little 60 frames per second. And if you'd click on that and give me some feedback on this video quality, the 60 frames per second, it would be awesome. Very much appreciated. So yeah, normally I record these videos on my normal camera. This is it's a decent investment, but it's not a big time high-end anything. This is actually an entry-level DSLR. It's a Canon T3i with a Tamron 17-55 lens with a constant f2.8 aperture and a Rode VideoMic Pro, which honestly I wouldn't buy again if I had to do it all over again because it's really not that great of an improvement for the audio quality. For the investment, I would have got a shotgun mic instead. Different topic for another day. But normally I record it with normally I record these videos with this camera, and this does a really good job, and because of the lens, you can really dial in whatever kind of angle you're trying to get. But for something like this where I'm just standing here in my garage talking into a camera and saying hello to all of you, then it really doesn't make sense to, I mean, it doesn't not make sense, but it's easier to just push the start button on this and keep talking. So this is actually a GoPro Hero 3 Plus Black Edition. I picked up a long time ago, like 6 months ago, and I really haven't used it that much. I haven't used it as much as I thought I would, but the times when I needed a very small compact camera to get into a certain spot, it has come in very handy. So I'm glad I bought this little thing. But back to my original statement, this little camera, this big, shoots at a higher frame rate and resolution than this camera does. So I wanted to test it out. This does not shoot at 60 frames per second, and I know YouTube allows 60 frames per second. So hopefully, as things move around in the video, the actual movement should be a little cleaner and crisp due to the 60 frames per second. Something else I like about this GoPro, which I've just noticed after using it, I don't know how many times, but it's got a little timer on there. It tells me how long I've been rambling on. So I've just rambled on for about 3 minutes or however long it takes to edit that down and wasted a little bit of your life. Another thing to compare the cameras for really quick is this camera's got a flip out screen, so I can actually see, as I'm recording, I can actually see what's in frame and all that other good stuff, which is pretty much essential for what I do around here. This I can't, so instead, you may see me look over here a couple times, but I've got my wife's tablet, pink, it's my wife, it's not mine. My wife's tablet, which, see, you can see me looking at me, 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 looking at me. The GoPro is Wi-Fi enabled, so you can use any other type of mobile device as a monitor. It's just kind of awkward when I look over here and talk. Just a quick disclaimer, somebody kind of blasted me on an email being all grumpy and being a jerk and all that stuff, saying that I'm kind of soliciting for you guys to send me stuff. I'm not asking for anybody to send me anything, but if you guys want to send me something, I don't care. Whatever, I'll give you my address. So I'm not telling anybody to send me anything, just to make that obviously clear if it wasn't already clear. So if you want to send me something, that's fine. I'm not asking you to. Those of you who have sent me stuff and will send me stuff, whatever, the whole interaction with the community, it's nice to send people stuff and give stuff. I give a lot of stuff locally, and to friends and family, I try to give as much as I can, so it's always nice to give. And for the jerk who sent me that email, probably just needs to get laid. Colt Davis sent me something this week that was kind of unexpected. It was really cool. Obviously knows I'm from the Detroit area, Southeast Michigan area, and Lions and Red Wings fan, whatever. Sent me an autographed little Game Pass card, but it's autographed by Lem Barney, who played for the Lions late 60s to the 70s. Was inducted into the Hall of Fame in '92. I think it was '92. Yeah, it was '92. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame. So, a little piece of history. That's pretty cool. Thank you very much, Colt. That's pretty neat. Dorald Kiefer, good guy. He's been around for a little bit on my channel stuff, and he sent me a Bessie sticker for the cabinet, which is very nice, and I will definitely put that up. I've got a couple Bessie K-Buddy parallel clamps. They are the least frequently used clamps that I have, but they're also the best clamps that I have. And when the time comes to use them, they really do help. So yeah, I'll definitely put this sticker on the cabinet. So phase one of the router lift is the actual router lift itself. I still want to make a table saw extension wing, which I'm going to do after I record this. But now that the lift is done, a lot of the questions, the main question, comment, concern, suggestion, whatever, was to make some type of threaded rod knob kind of micro adjustment thing, whatever. I did not do that because two reasons. Number one, I don't think it's necessary. And number two, I wanted to make this incredibly simple and easy to make. I don't want to overcomplicate this thing. So if you want to add some type of whatever micro adjustment, think of something, and if it works, great, make it and use it. But I don't think it's necessary because depending on how long the lever is, this one's 36 inches because I just quite frankly didn't feel like cutting it down, and I probably won't. But however long it is, the longer it is, and wherever you use your hand along it, you have a greater mechanical advantage the further you go out here. So if the distance from the bolt to here, I don't know the exact distance, 10 inches, whatever it is. If this is 10 inches and you put your hand 10 inches right here and move it, then you have pretty much a 2-to-1 mechanical advantage, I think. So for every 1 inch you move over here, you're gonna move half of an inch over there. And then if you go another amount over here, then you got like a 3-to-1 mechanical advantage. Basically, the further you go here, the easier it is to micro adjust. But even so, it's still incredibly easy to adjust because the way I've been using this thing is to use my hand underneath it like this. And then when I get it to the approximate height that I want, you can slide your hand right here. Don't worry about the bar at all. Just grab the side of the plywood. And then you can use your hand kind of like a cam up and down. I'm exaggerating it so you can see it. But if you can use your hand to just barely bump it up or down, then you can micro adjust it really, really easily. And another thing, you don't have to have all your hands up on the top of the table, one hand down here, one hand down here, whatever. You can put a square up here at the bit and dial it in with the square and just lock it in place. It's really not that difficult, and I think a lot of the comments were kind of overcomplicating the whole theme of this lift. So I did something a little bit out of the ordinary yesterday, and that is I cut some hand-cut dovetails. I cut some hand-cut dovetails, a little redundant, but I went to Harbor Freight on Sunday and bought one of their little flush trim saws. It's like 1.5 inches wide, 6 or 7 long, really itty-bitty kind of saw, but the blade on it is really thin, and I'm like, hey, that might be pretty cool to goof off with some hand-cut dovetails. And I grabbed the pretty much only piece of hardwood that I have left in my shop, and that is some of this, I think it's maple, could be wrong, but I think it's maple. It's stained on one side, well, both sides, and then finishes on one side. But I cut it, and tell you what, when you're cutting hand-cut dovetails, take your advice from a professional who does this a lot. You have to leave gaps for expansion and contraction in order to allow the wood to properly expand. These dovetails should not be really tight and precise. You have to allow seasonal movement. So yeah, I was just goofing off. I think this is my 3rd dovetail joint that I've ever made, and just like when I made this second one, I have no desire to make another one, so it'll probably be another year before I goof off with something like this.
Goodbye.